Good afternoon, everybody. It is Sunday here at the tail end of November, and it's time for another pickups video. This will be the post Black Friday sales, whatever sort of pickups video, and I'd like to blame a lot of this probably biggest stack that I've had in a while on Black Friday. But the reality is that it's not really that much to do with it. It's just the typical like eBay scrounging and shit, and just like getting on a kick of certain things, as we'll see. Like we do a lot of times, I'm going to just start with Switch games, which there's 3 of, and apparently I've sold my soul to 2K, because I actually have another game on the way that we'll be talking about next month that is also from 2K. And you'd think that like I would be the biggest like against 2K on the Switch, but like, damn, they've got licenses, they've got series that I want, and so that portability on there. So first of all, I waited on this for, let's say I waited on this. It only came out in September, but I knew I was going to pay the $40 for it. WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which is what we're getting instead of 2K21, because last year was such a disaster. And this is sort of the Battlegrounds thing is clearly like they're trying to make X Grounds a thing. For 2K's various series, because this falls up on NBA Playgrounds. So I'm interested in see what other series they try to do with this. But 2K Battlegrounds is a sort of like an All-Stars arcade style game. And it's kind of cool, and I'm impressed with like the roster that they're getting in the game. And I think that the sort of like weird, there's like a swamp and the underground and like a subway station and shit. So I appreciate stuff like that. I think it's cool. I paid $20 for this from Best Buy. I was waiting like all month because they announced their sales. I was like, that's the one. That's the one I'm gonna get. Like, I'm gonna pay $20 for that. Hell yeah. So yeah, I picked it up the other day. I played a couple matches. I like it, but it's I'm playing WCW Mayhem. I just finished playing WCW Mayhem, so I'm not. My attention is not going to other wrestling games right now, unfortunately, because it's stuck on a pretty bad one. But it's whatever. I did try it. I did make sure to try it. And then another 2K game that again I wasn't really sure. Licensed PGA golf game, serious golf sim, so to speak. So this PGA Tour 2K21, and I was really interested to see what they were going to do with it, because like obviously like the Tiger Woods like license that branding like really carried the EA series for so long, and that's why Rory McIlroy like really didn't work out when they went to the new generation. That's why EA stopped doing it, and the golf club is what really took over in that meantime. But people didn't really know that the golf club existed because the golf club sold itself on not having licenses. So it was a by HB Studios, who basically did everything. The only license they really had was the Greg Norman course designer, which was their calling card, starting with the first game. So now here we are, like 4 or 5 years later, and 2K sees the gap in the market for PGA Tour licensed full sim golf games, and I think they published Golf Club 2019 2 years ago. Which was like some PGA branding was starting to get into the golf club, but now this is like a full-on, like they are calling this PGA and putting it in their full $60 line of sports games, and it's good. I saw a lot of reviews when it came out because I think everyone really expects the flashiness of Tiger Woods if a full golf game comes out again, and I knew what the golf club was. I've played the golf club, and when I saw that, okay, it's basically just going to be the golf club rebranded and given full licenses so that it can be a $60 game, I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to pay the $60, but I do want a golf series to succeed. And so I saw reviews, people really not liking it when it came out, and it became clear to me as soon as I picked this up for this was a Best Buy Black Friday sale, for $27 for a lot of the Switch games, sports games in particular. I think they're doing like most of this year's sports games for $27, which is cool. So like Madden, NHL, NBA 2K. So I got this for $27. I popped it in, and it became clear to me that like this was still like fully the DNA of the golf club. with like more bells and whistles put on it, and I really really enjoyed it because I like the golf club. And yeah, it became pretty clear to me that the people that didn't like this were not prepared to not just have Tiger Woods back. Basically, that's all I can really say about it. Like, people wanted Tiger Woods again. The golf club and Tiger Woods are two very very different things, but there is a lot of features in this, and I think it's good. I think it's cool. I'm going to have a lot of like kickback and just play around with this. It's really good for that, especially on the Switch and having it be portable and everything. Although the Joy-Con analog sticks, I did not think that they were big enough for my hands, so I've tried to stick to playing this on the TV with the Pro Controller. It's been much better, because I did start out playing it on the handheld mode, and the sticks just felt too small for the swing. And then lastly, this is a ridiculous looking game, and it's got decent reviews and everything. It's called Supermarket Shriek, which is just a ridiculous looking game published by P-Cube, where you drive around a supermarket and with a goat in the car. I don't necessarily know 100% what to expect out of this game, but it does look ridiculous. It's like $25. I haven't opened it yet. I just got it, but yeah, how could I not? How could you not? Ridiculous. Okay, next, just real quick, there's two PS2 games, and they're both baseball games. All-Star Baseball 05 and MLB 2006. Not MLB 06, the show, MLB 2006, which has always been this weird anomaly to me of the last gasp for 989 doing baseball as 989, because I think that they just changed their name, and they also rebranded with the show. And it's weird because there's MLB 2006, a Sony exclusive baseball game, and then there's MLB 06, the show, which started the year after, because this is 2005, yeah. It's always just really interesting because it's really got that DNA in it of like Sony's in-house companies doing the baseball game. Really interested to see what it was right before they rebranded the following year for the show. And then All-Star Baseball 05, it's weird because this was the last All-Star Baseball. And I'm a big fan of All-Star Baseball because of the N64, and then for the years in between, they really obviously got overshadowed by MVP for 2003, 2004, 2005. But 05, or the branding year of 05, is really, really interesting because there's like 5 baseball games. There's this, there's All-Star, there's MLB 2K5, there's so much going on. But I remember playing this one in particular, which is so weird because I played MVP 05 religiously at that time. So how did I even end up playing this? But I definitely played this, and I wanted a reminder on this, so I'll have to pop this in sooner or later and give it a shot again. We have 4 Xbox games, 3 of which are not particularly exciting, but I was surprised I did not own any of them. The Burger King games, that's Sneak King, Pocket Bike Racer, and Big Bumpin', which are all very simple and not very exciting games that they printed just so much of these. They've made so many copies of these that you get surprised that you didn't just pick them up at some point. I don't even really want to talk about them that much. They're the Burger King games. You've seen them. You've been aware of their existence. They're Xbox games that came out around the 360's launch time, so they would say on them includes Xbox 360 and original Xbox versions. It just means it's an Xbox game that's backwards compatible. And then one other Xbox game that's a lot more exciting than that, Deus Ex Invisible War, which is an Xbox, I want to say at least Microsoft exclusive sequel to the first Deus Ex that I remember playing as a kid, and I should not have played this as a kid because I didn't get it. Obviously, it's Deus Ex. What are you supposed to get when you have an Xbox when you're 11? 11 or 12? Something like that. But this is a very, very well-regarded and very highly rated game, so I definitely is one that I wanted to get back so that I could give it another shot. And sort of get into the Deus Ex series, because I've got this one, I've got the Human Revolution, I think is the one that came out for the Wii U. I've got that. I haven't really played either of them, but they're both supposed to be really good. And next up, you didn't think I would ever buy Wii U games again, but here we are. Actually, this was at work. someone sold an almost complete Wii U set. So I'm looking at that and knowing that I've got not even really a near complete or an almost complete like this person had, but a Wii U collection that I have everything that I think I want on it, and then you kind of look at it again and go, all right, is there anything at all that I could say, might be enjoyable? And so I got these two Wipeout games. I never really wanted to buy the Wipeout games, even though the concept of Wipeout, the TV show, has always been interesting. And sort of we just got that with Fall Guys coming out this past season, past couple months, with the sort of like MXC, it's that human obstacle course that regular people go on. So that's kind of what Wipeout is. And the games, I think the reason that they always looked like shovelware to me specifically was the fact that there were so many of them in a really, really short span of time. There are 4 of these. This is the 4th one. And this is the 2 that came out on the Wii U, Wipeout Create and Crash, and Wipeout 3. And I always got this feeling it does have to be shovelware because they're published by Activision, and 4 of them came out in like 4 or 5 years, to the tail end of the Wii and the Wii U. But they're not like complete trash as far as reviews or online reception goes. So the fact that that is an interesting concept, I would enjoy that. It's enjoyable. Seems to be enjoyable to do it in person. But yeah, I figured just pick up these 2 because they're not expensive and just throw them in the pretty extensive Wii U collection. And then otherwise, Rabbids Land, a party game with the Rabbids that only came out on the Wii U, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's a most of them have handheld like versions or spin-offs or titles that are kind of analogous to them. I don't think this one really has anything like that. It looks okay. It's got fine reviews. So even though I don't like the Rabbids as a whole, it's kind of just the thing that I don't like them because of what they turned Rayman into. And I'm a little bit over that because they actually put out a really good game in Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Not that I've spent a ton of time on that anyway, but it's supposed to be good. It is. I've seen it. It's supposed to be good. A couple GameCube games, which is awesome. Not too exciting for the most part, but Madden 2004, I noticed a pretty decent sized gap in sort of like what I had for yearly Maddens, and it's not like these are expensive on GameCube. So people always talk about 2004, partly because of Michael Vick and the way that the offense was in 2004 as sort of one of the landmark years for it. So I just decided to grab this. And it's funny that I'm talking about the one with Michael Vick on it because I got the hankering to play NFL Street 2 last night. And I played a couple games of that, played some pickup games, and one of them, Michael Vick, I do the 40 random player pool, and Michael Vick was in one of them. And so, of course, I'm like, oh my god, Michael Vick's ridiculous, he's a cheat code. People talk about him being ridiculous in this game. He's even more ridiculous in an arcade game that you can't necessarily control him, and he's so fast and so ridiculous that everyone's like overpowered, and Michael Vick is like, yeah, he's your quarterback, you're running all the time with the quarterback in that game, and he can throw the ball. But anyway, that's a different game. This is Madden 2004, which he's also ridiculous in. But yeah, people talk about this game. It's true for that one too. Didn't have any. I don't really have a whole lot of Harvest Moons in general. I think I just have 64. But if I'm gonna get another one, I'll get a GameCube one. So not another Wonderful Life, a Wonderful Life. Another one is the complete version of this, the expanded version of this one. There's 3 GameCube ones. They're all supposed to be good. There's this one, like I said, Another Wonderful Life, which is the extra stuff version, and Magical Melody. I don't know the differences. I just was like, yeah, Harvest Moon game, that's cool. Similar to Harvest Moon in a way, there's the Life Sims, Sims 2 Pets. I'm not really huge on the Sims, but if I'm going to enjoy any of them, I feel like it'll be the one that focuses on animals, and that's all my logic for that. Paying less than $10 for it, that's all I wanted. Zapper, One Wicked Cricket. This is a weird game. This came out, when this came out, I definitely was in that period of like, oh, Ty the Tiger is coming out. And I was still 10 years old-ish at the time, or around that age, when these kind of games were coming out. There was Scalar always jumped out to me as that, and Ty the Tiger, for sure. And it seemed to me that there were becoming a lot still a ridiculous amount of platformers, and they were all getting very, very stale. But this is actually not like that. This is a really weird Blitz Games and Infogrames not having the license for Frogger anymore because Konami had taken it back and kind of making a Frogger 3, like a sequel to Swampy's Revenge. It's supposed to be pretty decent because the Frogger 2 is pretty fun. It's got its quirks about it that are not that great. But yeah, this is sort of like another Frogger game that you're not Frogger. It's an interesting game. And oddly enough, a game that I'm surprised how long I've wanted this, and also by Blitz Games, because they just did every like licensing thing that you can imagine at that point. Taz Wanted, which is, I guess if anything, it's a sequel to the PAL exclusive Taz game, Taz Express on the N64, which is not good. This one's supposed to be a bit better. And yeah, I would have only really wanted this on GameCube, so I really waited on it, and I finally got it for under $10, which was my price point for it. One Game Boy Advance game here. Knowing that Declutter games, they're going to come with the boxes because they go by barcodes. James Bond, Everything or Nothing. I was actually, this is a really, really good console game, Everything or Nothing, the 007 one. And I actually even saw it recently, the console version of this, obviously. I think it was What Culture did a list, and it was the #1 best James Bond game over GoldenEye. And I won't argue with that because this is, like, if you want to feel like you're playing James Bond, Everything or Nothing is that. And sort of the advanced version is kind of cool, and I've got Everything or Nothing on GameCube, and you can link them up and see, I don't know what you're going to get out of it, but it's cool. So yeah, cool game to have in the box. Portable version of a really, really good James Bond game. Here's a weird thing that I did this month. I got back into a weird PC game collecting kit, because I play my PC and my collection of games for the PC so much, right? But this actually, start with Grim Fandango. Yes, I can hear you, Grim Fandango. This is just the Digipack release version of it. It would be a lot more expensive if it had a big box or anything. But this particular game I grabbed because sort of my potential way of buying PC games is if I buy something off of Steam or GOG and I can find the physical and it's not too expensive, I'll get the physical to have it in the collection, and then I'll have the digital version that's actually more playable. This is the perfect example of that, because obviously this is like a Windows 95, 98 kind of game that is a headache to run on anything at this point, as far as what I've got. So you get it from GOG, and the GOG version even has Mac compatibility, so I can play it on this. And so the reason that I got it on GOG, though, is because I signed up finally for an actual GOG account to buy Christmas gifts, to potentially buy a Christmas gift for somebody, and they hit you with a welcome email, and they're like, here's a welcome offer, you can get these games for this much. Grim Fandango, welcome offer is $3. I'm like, of course I'm going to get that. I actually, for digital stuff, I got Grim Fandango for $3, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines for $5, and The Witcher 1 for $1. So I spent less than $10 on the downloads of 3 games. And then I went to work and I was like, do we have Grim Fandango? Yeah, I paid like $12 for this. So, saving money, right? But no, that's the way that I intend to approach this sometimes. This is a really, really cool thing. PC games do this all the time, and it's one thing that I think is awesome. Battlefield 1942, the complete collection. This is an 8-disc set of Battlefield 1942, its expansions, and Battlefield Vietnam. And if we call it the pre-COD 4 Modern Warfare era of first-person shooters, obviously I really like World War II stuff. Battlefield is really solid, but Battlefield always kind of lived on the PC, and so this is sort of like a thing that I could have if I get this running and can play it. I would really catch up really well on sort of the pre-Modern Warfare era of good first-person shooters, back when this wasn't super redundant and coming out, and it didn't feel exhausting. Then we've got sort of the thing that I'm more interested in. One of my focuses for things that I will buy for PC games. This is The Beast Within, a Gabriel Knight mystery. This is the second game in the Gabriel Knight trilogy, which is a ridiculous. Oh, there's so many discs in here. There's 6, I think. It's either 5 or 6. 6. 6 fucking discs in this thing. Yeah, so Gabriel Knight, 2, The Beast Within, with a hefty 6 discs in a double jewel case that they like had to do that thing where they flip over and you have to stuff them all in. A Sierra mystery game, Sierra adventure game. This kind of game is something I've taken a specific interest in lately because I've been watching Pushing Up Roses on YouTube, and she's really, really good. Watching her for like X-Files stuff, watching her for Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark, and for PC adventure games like this, which is really cool. Really, really high on my list, actually, partly because of her and partly because I knew about it anyway, was Phantasmagoria. Really, really want to get that in some way, shape, or form. Just waiting to like pull the trigger on the download and go try and find the physical too. 2 games, I had to get these. As soon as I saw them come in at work, I had to absolutely get these. These are 2 of the 3 Zoombinis games. This was sort of like if you could think of the game you played in the computer lab in elementary school, like that you always kind of remembered and always kind of stuck with you. And it's an edutainment game, really. But it's really good stuff. It's all like logic puzzles and stuff. Or, excuse me, epic adventures of math and logic. But they're really good. They're really enjoyable. I literally saw... It was a Simpsons shitpost the other day that was a Zoombinis reference, and I marked out so hard. I was like, oh my god, I just bought those. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, and one of these is actually not compatible, so I have to pop it in here for sure to see if it'll just run on here. But yeah, this is the first one, Logical Journey of the Zoombinis, and Zoombinis Mountain Rescue. So you got the first 2 in there. Awesome stuff. And then finally for PC games, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Saga, which is a game that you can buy for $6. I might still end up doing that if it is going to run better. You can get for $6 on Steam or GOG this pair of games. But this is one of several Star Wars RTS/strategy games that came out in the late 90s to early 2000s. And this one is notable to me because it uses, you can see right here, uses the Age of Kings engine, the Age of Empires 2 engine. And Age of Empires 2 to me is like one of the best RTSs. Like that's a game I remember playing as a kid, not understanding and knowing that it was super cool. And so I hold Age of Empires in like a really high regard, even though it's like a game I'm not good at for sure. And so when you say a Star Wars Age of Empires, I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that. I will definitely try that. So that's it for PC games. An awful lot of PC games, way more than you'd expect from me usually. On a weird kick of it, but it's a collecting thing. Like I might not play any of those anytime soon unless I can like pop Zoombinis in my Mac or run Grim Fandango here on my Mac like I could. But it's a cool collecting thing. There are PC games that you can't get anywhere else that are cool. So this on the PS1 with C12 Final Resistance, which is it doesn't have great reviews, especially not from back in the day. But to say not from back in the day, it doesn't have great reviews. It's actually really weird. This came out in like 2002 for the PS1. It's a PS1 exclusive. It says 2002 on the back of it. It blows my mind. And it's sort of a third-person shooter. Kind of gives me like Siphon Filter vibes. And the other thing that it gives me the impression of is that this is like 4 years before Resistance came out. Like it's so weird. A PS1 game came out in 2002. That reminds me strongly of a PS3 game that came out at launch of that system in 2006. But that it really is like this is fight against the aliens. Like you got lots of reds and oranges and dark browns going on in the environments and the levels. And it's also I had to look up who the team was that worked on this game in case it was the people that worked on Resistance. It wasn't. But it's actually, they're now Guerrilla Cambridge. So not Guerrilla Games that does Killzone, but they did Medieval. It actually says that on the back. Back in the day, they did Medieval. They did Transformers Beast Wars. And the really, really crazy thing that they did Ghost Hunter and Primal on the PS2. So a really, really interesting, like, resume for these guys here that did this game, C12 Final Resistance. Like I said, didn't get great reviews, still not like well remembered or in particularly high regard, but a really interesting late PS1 release, very, very late. I don't know, I got, whatever. Big old double case for one disc with a big manual game here for the PS1. Warhammer, Shadow of the Horned Rat. Developers tried very, very hard to get strategy games, particularly RTS games, to work on the PS1. And this doesn't even support the mouse, which is like a crime to me. I don't even know if it's necessarily like full-on RTS, but it's a strategy game. But the reason I'm interested in this was because this logo right here, this is an SSI game. And SSI, the people that did all the like gold box PC games of the early 90s, all the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, cool stuff like that. This is a really interesting shot at doing a Warhammer game, doing it, I think, exclusively on on the consoles. I don't think this is on PC. It might be. But they also did on PS1 like Allied General and Panzer General, and you'd think I'd want to play those, but those get wicked complicated. And so this is sort of my like, yeah, I'll try an SSI game. I'll try this. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it, but it's an interesting, like, I don't own any SSI games until now, and it's a noteworthy company for sure. We've got next a weird one of the earlier PS1 JRPGs that the system became really well known for, and not one of the best ones from what I've seen, but I was interested to pick this up for not too much. Beyond the Beyond. This is an easy one to get mixed up with Legend of Legaia and Legend of Dragoon to me. Like Sony in-house ones that are just like straight up full-on fantasy JRPGs. And this is 1996, so this is fairly early. But really good condition copy here. One disc JRPG on the PS1. Yeah, just an interesting game. I don't think it's particularly great, but a cool one to have. And then this is a hilarious game to me. This is Dave Mirra, Freestyle BMX, Maximum Remix. I had the plain version, the vanilla version on Dreamcast, but this is sort of a like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, if you want to compare it to the big extreme sports game. So Dave Mirra BMX is like the better one as far as most people are concerned. I think I had Matt Hoffman for Dreamcast too. It's crazy. I had both BMX games on Dreamcast. But this is extra levels and stuff. And it even has a soundtrack CD. So this is just like a very like a collector's like, I would rather have this game. Because I've also got Dave Mirra 2 for GameCube and everything. And that's, I think, even better remembered by most people. I really just am Tony Hawk through and through. But yeah, this is a hilarious thing to me that they came out with this. Sort of an extra version of Dave Mirra. Around this, I got one 360 game, a couple PS4 games, but one 360 game. I've actually been trying to get my hands on this for a really long time because it's not a good game. This is Never Dead, published by Konami, and it's never been like under $10, or I think anytime I've tried to get it, like I think I tried to order it online once and it got canceled or something like that. It's been a game that for something this bad that I only want for one very, very stupid reason, it's been weirdly difficult for me to get my hands on. I wanted this for the same reason I wanted Sacred 2 Fallen Angel, and for the same reason that I really like Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, actually. It's because of Megadeth. Their logo is very small. Megadeth. There's a song on... It's got to be 13, right? Yeah, this came out in 2012, so... there's a song on 13 named after this game that Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine will never turn down the chance to write a soundtrack song, apparently. Because two songs, literally, on 13 were written for video games. This, Never Dead, and Sudden Death, which he wrote for Warriors of Rock, the last main series Guitar Hero game. So yeah, that's the only reason I own that. That's the only reason I wanted it. And it came sealed. So it just will sit on my shelf forever and be like, that's the one that Dave wrote the song for. And then we'll round out here with a couple of PS4 games. This one, first of all, Hero Land for the PS4. This is the Knowble edition. Knowble. Knowble. This has been going on sale a lot on Amazon for $15, and it's a big box one, so, cheap, big box. Interesting looking game. It is sort of a comedy. It's in between an RPG and a visual novel, from what I was looking up, a lot of times the game kind of takes the reins for you a lot and doesn't. It's not so much a full-on RPG with like complete customization and stuff. And I'm like, I'm actually going to prefer that. Like, I just want to kind of experience this game for its like comedy. It's like a theme park sort of adventure through this. You get to act like a RPG hero, and it's got like a map and it's got a pouch and what is it? A CD. Yeah, so $15. Keep an eye out for this on Amazon if that sounds like it would appeal to you, because you get a big box version of it. This Bloodborne Game of the Year edition, which I think only was released like this in like the Middle East or something, because the only two quotes they have, one of these is written in what I assume is Arabic, and the other one is a rating from IGN Middle East, 9.5 out of 10. So Bloodborne was given away on PlayStation Plus a long time ago, and I've tried to play it twice since then and just never stuck with it. But I hadn't bought it because I knew about these. Oh, and there's one more, also in Arabic right here. I had not purchased it specifically because I knew about the existence of this physical version that came out in the Middle East that a lot of people have gone out of their way to get. And it's this Game of the Year edition that's really the only one that has the Old Hunters DLC on the disc physically. And when you're not necessarily buying it to play the hell out of it and you already have access to it, I was like, I'm just going to wait until I can get this because it's a cool, like, yeah, this is what I'll pay for. So this goes for about $25 now, and I was like, that's a reasonable price. I'll pick that up for that. So yeah, Bloodborne. Now I own Bloodborne, and I have a version that looks better on my shelf than just regular Bloodborne that I won't play. Another VR game. This one went on sale for $10 for Black Friday at Best Buy. And the other game the last game that I have is also a Black Friday game. Concrete Genie, which is just a very pretty looking... I don't even necessarily know what type of game it is. It's just, I've seen good things about it, and it looks very pretty, and it's VR, and I was like, yep, for $10 I'm going to pick that up. I think the thing I keep confusing it with, which I think is a completely different type of game, is a Smash Hit Plunder, another game that I don't know a whole ton about, but looks very pretty and very interesting, and is VR game, so that's like the other game that I'll pick up for that reason. And finally, came out earlier this year, and I knew it would be a good sale price on Black Friday, and it was $15 at Best Buy for Resident Evil 3 Remake. I was a little bummed out because when they said that this was going up for sale, they actually said it was going to have a free steelbook with it too, which would have been really cool, but when I went to order it with all the other stuff that I did, they wouldn't let me check out with the steelbook in the cart, so they must have run out really, really quick, but you could still get the game for $15. I just got this, and I do intend on playing it fairly soon. However, I don't want to play Viral Outbreak, Desolate, Scary. I'm not feeling it right now. So I might wait a bit on that, especially because I just played Metro 2033, and God, that was bleak, and God, I did not enjoy. When your character just dies hacking up a lung because you can't breathe. I didn't really like that, so I'm kind of trying to stay away from playing this, and this would be like right at the top of my list. I would get to this right away if I wasn't feeling that way about what games I wanted to play right now. And that's it. That was a big stack. That was a lot of stuff compared to what I've been getting this past year. The PC thing really, really did me in a bit as far as how much stuff I bought, and then Black Friday, it didn't help either. But, yeah, a lot of stuff in between there, too, that I can't blame on anything but myself. Cool. Have a nice holiday. We'll see you at the end of next month. And in various capacities on the N64 quest. Next up is Monaco Grand Prix, but I might do something like Japanese today, or in between or something like that. Yeah, we'll see what's up. Alright, bye-bye.